To start transitioning into today's practice and getting in your body, I invite you to take a moment to check in with yourself, see how comfortable you are, if you like the chair you're sitting in, if you feel good with how you are positioned, if there's any last minute things or stuff you want to grab. Now is the opportunity to do that. Take a moment here to invite you, wherever you're at in the breath, to empty your lungs and sigh it out. Next invitation is to take the biggest breath you've taken all day, breathing in from the nose and exhaling out from your mouth when you're ready. Allowing your mind to wander. The next 40 to 50 minutes are yours, uninterrupted, hopefully. You take time to slow down. There's nothing to do but this, and there's nowhere to be but here. There are no expectations of you, other than that you continue to breathe. Whatever rhythm and pacing of the breath feels accessible, stick with that. There's no counting. As you're starting to orient to the space, noticing the way the oxygen feels flowing in through and out from the body. As you exhale, you may notice shifts in tension or pressure. As you inhale, you may notice expansion, stretch. Give yourself permission to slow it down, allowing your eyes to softly scan the room. We're not looking for anything in particular, just noticing. This can be a helpful practice in slowing down in your day-to-day, taking a minute to pause, checking in with your level of comfort, letting your eyes scan the room. You might notice 4 or 5 things you can see. Since we're all in a different space, I'll just name a few things that I see in mine. I've got several adorable otter figurines on my desk. Couple post-it notes that are calling my name with to-dos, but we're going to ignore that for now because there's nothing to do but this. There's nowhere to be but here. Notice as your eyes track the room and you're scanning, what narrative comes up. Maybe it's about the pile of laundry, the dishes in the sink, the notifications you forgot to turn off, but it's not too late if you want to turn them off. As you're scanning the room, your eyes might be starting to get heavy or tired. If it feels good, I invite you to let them gently close or soften, letting go of any tension behind the eyes or the forehead. Tuning your awareness to what you can hear in the space. Not just my voice, but perhaps there's something in the background. An air conditioner, a fan, your own fur babies. Practicing noticing without expectation. Awareness without having to do anything. Giving your brain an opportunity to slow down and be curious. Turning your senses towards something you can touch. Might be the texture of your shirt, the way the carpet feels, the padding in your chair or the lack of. Maybe giving your fingers a little wiggle here. And throughout the practice, there's no expectation that you're perfectly still. You can move, shift, adjust, scratch. You don't have to be perfectly still to be embodied. Once again, I invite you to take the biggest breath you've taken all day, and this time noticing what you smell. It could be the reminder of this morning's breakfast or last night's dinner, a candle in the room, smell of your shampoo. Practicing noticing without action or expectation that you do anything about what you've noticed. Slowing down gives us an opportunity to decide how we want to respond instead of responding and deciding how we feel about it later. And as you continue to settle in, I invite you to notice the sensation in the body. No wrong answers. Whatever sensation feels the loudest or the strongest. Giving yourself a few rounds of breath to focus there. It's a space that feels tight, compressive, or painful. Giving yourself permission to engage in some micro movements or maybe some larger movements. Noticing how that changes the experience without pressure or expectation to fix or solve anything. Continuing to breathe. On your next inhale, breathing in through the nose, deep breath. And then as you exhale, letting your jaw soften, relaxing the eyes. It might even feel good to yawn and take a full body cat stretch. Taking a moment to settle, pausing and noticing what shifts. Allowing the mind to wander as we ping pong between open, tension, expansive awareness, coming back to focal points throughout the practice. I invite you to be gentle with your inner dialogue and your narrative about how good you are at embodiment. It's not about being good or the best, doing it right or wrong. It's about how it feels. If it feels supportive, slow, restful, then you're doing it right. If it feels activating or overwhelming, it's information your body's giving you about how you respond to slowness. Your body reacts faster than your brain does. Your autonomic nervous system responds within milliseconds. That can be one of the reasons why discomfort can strike before we understand it. We often get into this cycle of what's wrong, instead of how do I feel? My hope is that these somatic snacks will give you an opportunity to tap into what your body's trying to tell you. Whether that's through a sensation, breath, the rhythm of those two things interacting with each other. Continuing to breathe. Invitation to check in, not to fix or change, but just to notice where you're at in the practice, how your body's responding. If there's anything you need to continue. Taking your time to be curious. I invite you to turn your attention to where your body's making contact. Perhaps it's the floor, the chair, the bed. Might even be sitting on your own hands, resting them in your lap. Let yourself feel the support underneath you. You don't have to hold yourself up. If it feels okay, take one breath in through the nose, sighing it out from the mouth, inviting softness into the shoulders just a little. It might feel good on the next inhale to gently stretch or bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Notice any rounding in the chest or tendency to furl. And as you exhale, soften the shoulders and gently opening at the chest. Maybe even gently shifting the gaze towards where the ceiling and the wall meet each other. Maybe really thoughtful about throwing your head back. Our spine and our neck are not particularly strong. You want to be really gentle, conscientious, the back of the neck. As you're here, you might decide bringing your right ear toward the right shoulder. A gentle stretch along the left side of the body. You can even walk your left fingertips out away from you. And that'll change the depth of the stretch. Taking your time, bring your head back to neutral. And as you exhale, slowly bringing left ear toward the left shoulder. There's no expectation that they touch. This side may feel different than the other. Noticing curiosity. Maybe walking the right fingertips out away from the body. Gently stretching along the right side. Taking your time and slowly bringing the head back to neutral. Gently bringing your awareness to the top of your head. You might feel a pressure, a tingling, maybe nothing at all. Starting to shift that attention to the forehead. Noticing if it's scrunched or tight. Invitation to scrunch up the whole face. And as you exhale, let it go. Soften. Allowing the face to be heavy as we check in with the eyes, cheeks, and jaw. Letting your jaw drop open slightly. Maybe even a gentle yawn. Starting to shift your attention down to the neck and the shoulders. It's the place many of us hold stress. And if you're somebody who works at a computer, you probably spend quite a bit of time hunched over like a computer T-Rex. There's no need to force or release, just acknowledging, giving yourself space to open up. You might try a micro movement, rolling your shoulders forward, back, shrugging and releasing. Notice while you're engaged in these micro movements, you have a tendency to hold your breath. It's okay if you do. Invitation to breathe. It might feel good to sync the breath up with your shoulder rolls or shrugs. Breathing in as they come up, exhaling as you shift them down. A note for my fellow hypermobile friends: if you hear popping or clicking, that can be normal. If that popping and clicking is painful, you might just be overdoing it. Listen to your body. Notice the information it's giving you. Allow yourself space to listen. Continuing to breathe. Shifting your attention into the arms, past the elbows and into the hands, feeling the weight of them, allowing the hands to rest a little more fully, noticing if you have a tendency to keep your hands gripped tight in fists. I call mine the Mr. Burns hands or kind of T-Rex hands. You might open them up, flexing the fingers in the hands wide, giving them a little wiggle. It might feel good to rotate the wrists, gently going clockwise and counterclockwise, then coming to stillness and slowing down. Continuing to breathe as you notice the chest and the rib cage, tapping into the rhythm of the breath. You don't have to control it. Bringing your awareness to the inhale and the exhale. Shifting that attention now into the diaphragm, the low belly. It might feel supportive to place a hand here just under the belly button. Do you feel like you're clenching, sucking it in, or holding? As you exhale, invitation to let go and soften. And if that doesn't feel safe, just notice. Continuing to breathe as we move our attention down into the hips and the pelvis. These foundational support areas. You might shift or wiggle if you need to. Noticing any tension or comfort, anything in between. Continuing to breathe. Embodiment and slowing down. These somatic snacks are not just about regulation. About helping send those cues gently to your brain, to your nervous system. It's okay to slow down. It's okay if slowing down doesn't feel regulating. True regulation happens when the body gets enough signals to settle. Everybody's brain and body needs different types of signals to feel safe. Safety is a body state, it's not just a thought. Slowness can help tell the body it's okay now. When you intentionally slow your movement or your breath, your attention, we start to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, that sweet spot of rest and digest. It's one of the ways your body knows. It can start to hit snooze on some of those alarms, maybe even turn them off. Starting to shift your attention now from the hips and the pelvis down into the legs, thighs, knees, and calves. Noticing their weight. Maybe the left and the right side feel different from each other. It might feel good to flex the feet back towards your face. Gently rotate the ankles, maybe clockwise or counterclockwise if that's accessible to you. And then soften and relax the legs, allowing them to be heavy. Noticing how they make contact with the space beneath you. Whether you're sitting, laying down. Finally, we shift our attention to the feet, giving the toes a little wiggle. Feeling where they meet the ground or the surface. Stay here for a few breaths. I invite you to notice your body as a whole. Each area supporting you. okay if you don't feel calm. Practicing noticing, breathing with intention and awareness, continuing to breathe, to let your mind wander, allowing the attention to be open and expansive, full and roaming. There's no specific area of focus just yet. Thoughts or sensations may call your attention. I invite you to notice without expectation to fix or solve, without expectation to add something else to your to-do list. Continuing to breathe as you give yourself permission to go slow. Starting to shift that attention from open and expansive to an area of focus. Perhaps considering what it might feel like in your body if you gave yourself permission to go 5% slower. 5% slower when you brush your teeth. 5% slower when you take a shower. 5% slower when you make your coffee. Going slower in one area of our life does not mean we go faster in another. Slowness gives us a different vantage point, different opportunities. It's not always accessible or available. And as you settle into this focus of 5% slower, I invite you to notice the breath, seeing if we can extend our next inhale a little slower. Slowly exhaling as well. Continuing to breathe. I invite you to play with the concept of pressure. Here it might feel good to cross the arms in a butterfly hug, gently tapping on the shoulders or squeezing the biceps. If that feels too restrictive or uncomfortable, you might also try squeezing the hands into fists and gently letting them go. Maybe pressing one palm to the other and allowing them to release. Taking some time to notice the sensation of pressure, what it feels like to let go. Coming to stillness when you're ready. There's no urgency. Again, slowness helps tell the body it's okay. Continuing to breathe. For the next one, there'll be different instructions depending on if you're seated or laying down. In a seated position, we're going to invite some gentle movement. Seated cat-cows or kind of a rock forward, side to side, a little circle. If you're laying on the floor, you might move your feet, windshield wiper side to side, or bend at the knees, windshield wipering the legs from side to side. It might feel good to close the eyes here. You can bring the arms in as well. You might even think about it like big, exaggerated movements, but very slowly over to one side, over to the other side. Finding your own pace as you come to this back and forth, rhythmic movement. No movement is too big or too small. As you're shifting and moving, give yourself permission to focus your attention here, noticing the sensations without judgment. I invite you to consider, what movements does my body want right now? There's an open-ended, no wrong answers. It might be something small, like adjusting your shirt. It might be a side body stretch. It might be furling up into a little ball or a little bean. Opening up expansively. Take your time to be curious about what movements or shapes your body wants. You have permission to change levels. Maybe that's getting on the floor, standing up, laying down. Continuing to breathe. If you're feeling stuck with the prompts of what movements you might think about, are you looking for something compressive and tight? Are you looking for something open and expansive? Is there a texture or a sensation you might be seeking? I know for many of us, it is very, very hot right now. Is there a movement or a shape that would help you feel cooler? Is there a temperature your body's seeking? It might feel good to rub your feet back and forth or your hands back and forth on the carpet or a pillow, just noticing the texture. Embodiment is not about perfection. Slowing down isn't about being perfectly still. It's about noticing, giving yourself permission to use the information in a way that supports you. And also noticing when you feel called to jump into problem solving. Sometimes sitting in discomfort is what we need. And sometimes sitting in discomfort is what we need to get away from. Wherever you're at in the practice, starting to slow it back down. Checking in with yourself once again. Are there any shapes or movements my body needs to feel settled? Any adjustments I can make to feel 5% more comfortable? As you start to slow down, I invite you to pause in the stillness. Seeing if you can drop any focus or attention at all. The invitation is just be. There's nothing to do but this, and there's nowhere to be but here. There are no expectations of you right now, other than continuing to breathe. Invitation to settle in deeper sinking in to some heaviness. Once again, noticing how your body is making contact with the space beneath you, whether that's the floor, your bed, a chair. Feeling the weight of your body and allowing gravity to hold you. Noticing sensations without changing them. It might feel helpful to repeat an affirmation like, I'm allowed to slow down. I have permission to be still. There are no expectations of me. Taking a moment to check in with the posture in the body. Are there any shifts or adjustments you'd like to make before coming to stillness? Slowing down. Wherever you're at in the breath, I invite you to exhale. Once again, taking the biggest breath you've taken all day. And as you fill up the lungs, and you exhale once again, noticing the sensation of oxygen moving in through and out from the body. Invitation to allow the attention to be open and roaming, big and expansive. Bringing your attention to the bottom of your feet, maybe wiggling the toes. Noticing where they meet the ground or the surface. Gently sliding your awareness up the legs, calves, knees, and thighs. Feeling the weight and sensation. Noticing how each side may feel different. Allowing your awareness to settle in the hips and the pelvis, these foundational support zones. You might wiggle or shift a little if needed, noticing if there's tension or comfort, anything in between. Maintaining your awareness in the hips and the pelvis. Shifting it out towards the glutes and the low back. Noticing any compression or holding. And on your next exhale, seeing if you can literally relax your butt cheeks. Let them be heavy and soft, supported by the space beneath you. Sometimes the idea of softening or relaxing your butt cheeks will help you to soften and relax the hip flexors and hip abductors. And it usually elicits a little giggle, and laughing is good for your nervous system. Shifting now and bringing your attention into the low abdomen. Noticing you're holding, sucking it in. How it might feel when you exhale to push your belly out. That lower abdomen, axial abdominal core helps support our spine and our posture. It's also one of the ways we can engage with our vagus nerve. Continuing to breathe as you shift your attention from the belly up into the rib cage. It might even feel supportive to place your hands around the rib cage. Taking a few breaths here, noticing how those sensations resonate in the front and back of the body. Sometimes we'll experience compression or tension in the mid-back. It's actually tension in the intercostals and the region in the armpits where your rib cage is at. Those muscles can feel spicy sometimes. If you feel like you're experiencing compression in that area, it might feel good to open the arms up in a T, whether you're laying on the floor or seated. Just inviting more expansion and openness into the chest. Taking a few rounds of breath here. Gently shifting your attention to your arms, elbows, and hands. Noticing the weight of them. Seeing if you can let them rest. Being supported by the surface beneath you. Perhaps placing them in the lap. Continuing to breathe. Bringing our attention up through the chest, into the throat and the neck. Noticing any tension or holding, any compression. It might feel good to take a big breath in through the nose, letting it go from the mouth, relaxing the throat. We shift our attention into the shoulders, perhaps on the inhale, scrunching them up towards the ears. And as we exhale, dropping them down, softening, letting go. Continuing to breathe. Starting to move our attention the throat and the neck, past the shoulders, the base of the skull, that occipital ridge. Depending on how you're sitting or laying, it might feel good to give yourself a little head massage, maybe gently rubbing the base where your neck and your head meet each other. Noticing any tension or holding in the jaw as you rub this space. Bringing your attention to the jaw, maybe opening and closing the mouth a few times. It can feel helpful or relaxing even to raspberry the lips a little as you exhale, inviting in some gentle vibrations, allowing the face to be heavy, soft. As we move our attention to the forehead, on the inhale, scrunching up your face. And as we exhale, letting it soften. Noticing how it feels to let go. There's no expectations. Gently shifting our attention to the top of the head. Perhaps there's tingling, pressure, maybe nothing at all. And as you inhale, bringing your attention to the top of the head, and as you exhale, letting your body sink a little deeper, wherever space you find yourself in. Permission to let go, to rest, to go 5% slower. Continuing to breathe. It might feel good to place one hand on the chest and one on the low abdomen. You may have heard of the idea of co-regulation, which by name seems like you need another person or at least a fuzzy friend with you to do it. Even solo practices can mimic the warmth of being with somebody or something safe. This can sometimes come in the form of supported touch, maybe hand on the chest or the belly, gentle rocking or swaying. Continuing to breathe. Noticing any discomfort, an invitation to stay with it. If it feels unbearable, you're not broken. Capacity might just be full. Our capacity is not a fixed state. It can expand with care, and that includes the care that you give yourself. Invite your body to settle. If stillness feels okay, you can stay here. Taking a moment to notice the breath. Your breath doesn't need to be deep or perfect. Allow it to be organic. It supported you this long. As we start to wrap up our practice, it's okay if your mind has been racing this whole time. It's okay if you haven't been completely free of thought. With a chronic overthinker, slowing down sometimes just means slowing down how fast we think. Not that we're going to get rid of all of those thoughts in doing so. My hope is that this practice has felt supportive, giving you space and permission to go 5% slower, not just today, but hopefully as you start your week, you bring parts of this practice, this concept of 5% slower into your day-to-day. Continuing to breathe. There's no expectation that you get up just yet or right now or before we wrap up. If you have been laying on the floor, be really conscientious about getting up nice and slow. Same thing, even if you've been seated in a chair, take all the time that you need. A couple of tips for after as we start to wrap up. With that, couple of tips for aftercare for today. You might want some additional nervous system support. Maybe that's now or later today. So taking some slow breaths is something that's available to us at most points in the day. Cuddling something soft or spending time with your favorite co-regulating cutie. Mine would be my cats, but of course they started a fight right underneath my mic as we were wrapping up because they're so good with timing. I'm sure those of you with pets can empathize with me there. Body nourishment, sometimes after somatic practice, not too dissimilar from like being in the sauna, yoga class, something like that. You might feel a little jittery or shaky. Snacks, food of any kind is always a good idea. I will die on the hill that toast is a whole ass meal. So whatever's accessible to you food-wise, please make sure to nourish yourself today. Some feelings may have come up in today's practice. So journaling, doodling, voice notes, those are always a good idea. And with that, I am grateful for all of you for taking the time for yourselves to be here with me this morning. If you have any questions or there's anything that you need, please feel free to reach out. And with that, I hope that everybody has a great rest of their day.